And we are back. Welcome to the final game week of the Premier League season. And as I always do in these final videos, I just want to start by saying a massive thank you to everyone that has supported the channel over the course of the last 12 months. Going into game week 38 of last season, we had just 90 subscribers on this channel. We are now well over 500. So thank you very much for all the support and the growth you've given this channel over the last 12 months. And if you're not subscribed already, please do consider subscribing right now. And don't forget to like the video as well. We've got a whole host of content coming up for you over the summer months. We're going to be posting daily during the Under-21 tournament. We're going to be posting daily during the Women's World Cup, as well as covering all of the men's internationals as soon as the season ends. We've still got content before the season ends. I'll be doing my playoff predictions tomorrow, fantasy football Sunday morning. We'll then have the season wrap-ups, including reacting to my table predictions and predicting the FA Cup final, the Champions League, Europa League and Europa Conference League finals. And then during the summer as well, I'll be doing a fair few Manchester United videos in regards to who I think should be kept and who should be sold, who I think we should be signing, as well as all of my usual reactions to all of the pre-season games in the run-in to the start of the new season. And then we'll be getting going all again with game week 1 in just 9 weeks' time. So thank you very much once again. And like I say, please do subscribe to the channel. We're going to keep the content flowing over the next few months. But before we get into the summer, we still have one more Premier League game week to cover. So we'll go through our usual process, going through the matches one by one. There is not much on the line. We thought there might be a little bit more on the line, but thankfully, Champions League football is coming to Manchester United after last night. The Premier League has already been wrapped up. So all that is left to discuss in today's video is who is going to get relegated, who is going to stay up, and who is going to get that final European place with the Europa Conference still up for grabs. So let's jump in now to the final round of predictions. And we'll start off with the relegation fight. With all the games being played at the same time, it gives me the luxury to just rearrange the order slightly so I can make things a little bit more interesting for you guys. And we'll start with the team in the best position. That is, of course, Everton. They are taking on Bournemouth. Now, on paper, not only are Everton in the best position, they are also playing against what is probably the easiest opposition. With the greatest respect to Bournemouth, I have to say once again, a massive congratulations to them for staying in the Premier League. Everyone, including me, predicted them to go down. I had them to go down as 20th, but they have stayed up. They have thoroughly earned their place in the Premier League next season. However, since they kept their survival or got their survival secured, they've not really done anything at all. And Everton's home record has been very, very good under Sean Dyche. And with those things considered, I just think Everton will get the win, which makes the relegation fight incredibly boring on the day. I'm hoping that we can see some early goals in the other game just to pile the pressure on Everton a little bit. But I just think Everton get the win because I don't think Bournemouth are particularly too fussed what happens in this game. So I'll go for 2-0 to Everton. But like I say, anything can happen on the final day. It all depends what happens in the other games and when goals go in. But for me, I think whatever happens, Everton will get the win. If Everton fail to win, even a draw for them will not be enough if other results go the ways of the other teams. So we'll start with Leeds United. They are taking on Tottenham Hotspur. I think this is probably the hardest game on the day. I know Tottenham have been absolutely dreadful the last few weeks outside of performances from Harry Kane, but Leeds have been absolutely dreadful as well. So I just don't think they've got enough. They've got the quality in terms of players on the pitch, the likes of Rodrigo, Jack Harrison, Patrick Bamford, Willy Gnonto. These are good players. You would expect them to do better, but over the last few weeks, it's just not happened, in particularly for Patrick Bamford, who, if he'd have taken his chances in certain games against Leicester and against Newcastle, Leeds wouldn't be in this position. So I think it's a really tight game for Leeds. I think they'll give it a hell of a go. I think Tottenham will definitely concede goals in this game, but I just think Tottenham have too much the other way and Leeds don't have enough defensively to keep Spurs out as well. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. That will not be enough to see Leeds staying up. Whatever happens in the Everton game, they have to get the win, and I just don't think they're going to get it done. So Leeds will be making their way back to the Championship, in my opinion. Also, sitting on a potential slip-up will be Leicester City, a side that I don't think anyone thought would be in this position going into the final week of the season, where they have to win to stay up. I had both these teams, Leicester and West Ham, I had both of them finishing in the top half of the Premier League table, and obviously more on that when we get to the table reaction video, but the situation stands that Leeds have to win this game. Leicester have to win this game, and they're relying on Everton to draw or lose. If Everton do draw and Leicester win, Leicester will jump them on goal difference. Obviously, if Everton lose and Leicester win, they'll jump them on points. So it's a really, really interesting one, but I think Leicester will win. West Ham's priority is obviously that huge Europa Conference League final, a final that I'm really hoping that they do win. So it's a great opportunity for Leicester to get the win. I'm going to back them to do so. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Leicester. And then, like I say, it just all then will put pressure on Everton if they can get the lead first. But for me, I think Everton and Leicester will both win, which sadly for Leicester will mean that they will be joining Leeds in the Championship next season. On to the other battle that will be taking place on Sunday, and that is, of course, the race for the Europa Conference League places. We have got Aston Villa, Tottenham and Brentford currently fighting over that. I've already said that Tottenham are going to draw against Leeds. That would put them into the best position as it stands, because obviously I've not predicted Villa or Brentford yet. That would put Tottenham level on points with Villa if they lost with a superior goal difference, and Brentford would still be points behind. So it all then comes down to what can Aston Villa do, and they're taking on a Brighton side that are just absolutely loving life right now. They've secured their Europa League place for next season already. I think there's going to be a bit of a send-off for some players. It looks like McAllister will leave. It looks like Caicedo could leave. Lots of chats around the likes of Evan Ferguson and a fair few others as well. So interesting game for Brighton, and obviously Villa will be going for it. They will definitely want Europa Conference League football for next season. It's a good opportunity for them to win a trophy, in my opinion. I think whichever Premier League team gets this spot would probably be one of the favourites to win it overall. However, I just think Brighton are going to see off this season in style, and I think they're going to get Aston Villa done here. And I'm going to go for 2-1 to Brighton. I think all three results are available in this one, certainly. But for me, I think Brighton end their season in style, and that would cost Aston Villa their place in the Europa Conference League. Because as I go to the Brentford and Manchester City game, I'm going to go for a Manchester City win here as well. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Manchester City. Brentford are definitely more than capable of winning this game. Don't get me wrong. Manchester City are obviously going to be prioritising their FA Cup and Champions League finals. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to want to rest too many players. They want to keep some sort of momentum. They don't want to lose this run of form they're on. And I don't think they certainly do not want to lose this game because of such a good run that they're on. I just don't think Brentford quite will have enough to stop whatever Manchester City team is put in front of them. I know they did wonders at the Etihad earlier in the season, but I think that's another reason for Manchester City to want revenge in this one. So if Manchester City win, Brighton win, and Tottenham draw with Leeds, Tottenham will be the side in the Europa Conference League for next season, and that is what I will be predicting. As for the remaining games, they're not really playing for anything. Some of them will be playing, of course, for league position. And there is obviously prize money on the line for those relevant league positions. So we'll just go from this point on, top of the table downwards. So we'll start with Arsenal. They are, of course, in second place right now. They are taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers in a game that I think we all kind of expect Arsenal to win. I expect Arteta to make some changes to the side. We'll probably have some players get their send-off, the likes of Granit Xhaka, maybe Reece Nelson. And it'll be a good sort of feel-good atmosphere for Arsenal. I know they've sort of let this league challenge slip over the last few weeks, but I think back at home in the final game, with nothing really on the line, they'll be able to express themselves once again and give their fans a good send-off for the summer. I'm going to go for 2-0 to Arsenal. I think it could be potentially more. It really depends what Arsenal team gets put out. And when you look at these fixtures, it's really hard to pick what sort of lineups you're going to see from these sides. So we'll start with a 2-0 win for Arsenal. I think they'll beat Wolves, whatever the scoreline. In third place, you find Manchester United. They will be taking on Fulham. I spoke last night about what I would be doing with Manchester United. I expect Erik ten Hag to make some changes. I don't think it'll be wholesale changes, but I think he'll make some changes, maybe to the goalkeeper, a couple of players in the defence, etc. I would play the team that would start against Manchester City next weekend, but we shall see. Fulham, of course, will be looking for revenge for their FA Cup defeat with all the Mitrovic drama. So They're going to be well up for it. I think Fulham could definitely get a result in this game if we're not at our best and if we don't play our best team. But I'm going to go off the assumption that we are going to play our best team, in which case I think we should be beating Fulham, and I'm going to go for 2-1 to Manchester United. Any slip-ups from United would open the door for Newcastle to get back into third place after they lost out on that position over the course of the last few days, thanks to their draw and Manchester United's win. They will be taking on Chelsea, who got absolutely smashed by Manchester United last night in a very, very bizarre game where they could have been winning at half-time and ended up getting thrashed. Don't really know what to say about this game. I think Chelsea are just gone. I think they're already planning their summer holidays, and some of them will be planning their exits, as well as a lot of people planning potential transfer moves. I don't think they're going to do anything in this game. I think Newcastle will be looking to send their fans home happy for the summer, and I think they're going to be giving it everything in this game. And I think if Chelsea defend the way they defended last night, then Newcastle are going to get a fair few goals as well. If we're scoring 4 against them, God help them against the Newcastle side that's scoring nearly 4 goals every week at the moment. So I'm going to go for 4-2 to Newcastle, because it looks like Nick Pope has picked up a hand injury, which will see him miss this game, as well as all the England internationals. So potential for Chelsea to nick a couple of goals without their regular goalkeeper in net, but we shall see. I'm going for 4-2 to Newcastle. Speaking of 4, we will be then heading over to Liverpool, where I am predicting them to score 4 as well. They are taking on bottom club Southampton, who are already planning for life in the Championship. I'm going to go for 4-1 to Liverpool. I still like to give the opposition a goal against Liverpool because I still don't rate them defensively at the moment. But I think they're going to score a fair few goals the other way, which is why I'm going to go for 4-1 to them. They will finish in 5th place this season, regardless of what happens on the final day. And fair play for them to recover to this point and making the top 4 race a little bit nervy towards the end of the season. Watch out for them at the start of next season, I'm sure. However, they will have to play on Thursday nights. The final game, with pretty much no real status on this game at all, is a mid-table clash between Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest. Again, I think this will be very much a party atmosphere. Two sides that were fearing relegation a couple of months ago. Notts Forest, of course, fearing it just 1 week ago. Now both safe, now both free to enjoy this game. I think it's going to be a very open game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for the fans watching it, and I think Crystal Palace will eventually end up taking it. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Palace. They certainly deserve their survival status. Roy Hodgson's come back in and done a fantastic job, albeit I think Vieira would have done the exact same job. I think he just had that horrendous run of fixtures and a fair few key players injured, but fair play to Roy Hodgson. He may have a job at Crystal Palace again next season. We shall see, but I'm predicting them to end the season with a 3-1 win. And that will be it for the Premier League predictions for this season. One last final thank you from me. As always, let me know down in the comments your thoughts on the season as a whole, as well as your predictions for the final game of fixtures. Final week of fixtures, should I say. I will be back tomorrow morning with my predictions for the 3 playoff finals taking place at Wembley this weekend. I will see you then.